What's up, WrestleScope family? You need to sit down for this one because what I'm about to tell you will shake the very foundation of everything you thought you knew about WWE. The Beast Incarnate, the man who conquered The Undertaker's streak, the same Brock Lesnar who's been untouchable for over 2 decades, just got absolutely demolished by someone most casual fans have never even heard of. And I'm not talking about a competitive match. I'm talking about a complete and utter destruction that left the WWE Universe in absolute shock. Before I get into the details, let me ask you something. How would you feel if WWE just decided to take their most protected, most dominant superstar of the last 20 years and have him destroyed by an NXT call-up in his first main roster appearance? No build-up, no warning, just pure, raw annihilation. Because that's exactly what happened when Femi stepped onto Smackdown and treated Brock Lesnar like he was just another enhancement talent. Now, I already know what you're thinking. There's no way this actually happened, Brock Lesnar losing to an NXT guy on SmackDown? Well, buckle up, because not only did it happen, but the way it happened has the entire wrestling world divided right down the middle. Some people are calling it the boldest move in WWE history. Others are saying it's the biggest mistake the company has ever made. And me? I'm going to break down exactly what went down, why it matters, and what this means for the future of WWE. But first, if you're as fired up about this as I am, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me if you think this was genius or insanity, and subscribe to WrestleScope because we're about to dive deep into the most controversial moment in recent WWE history. So let's set the scene. Smackdown, the crowd is hot. We're expecting a typical episode when suddenly Paul Heyman's music hits. The crowd erupts because they know what's coming. Paul Heyman walks out with that signature smirk on his face and he's got the microphone. He starts cutting his usual promo about his client, Brock Lesnar, talking about how the Beast Incarnate is looking for new challenges, how he's conquered everyone, and how there's nobody left in WWE who can stand toe-to-toe with the most dominant force in sports entertainment history. Classic Heyman, right? We've heard this 1,000 times. But then, everything changes. The arena goes dark, and I mean pitch black. A new theme song hits that nobody in the main roster audience recognizes, but if you've been watching NXT, you know exactly who it is. The Titantron lights up with the words Oba Femi, and out walks this absolute monster of a man. 6'4", 275 pounds of pure muscle. The man looks like he was carved out of granite. Now here's where it gets interesting. Brock Lesnar, the man who has stared down The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, John Cena, and every top star you can imagine without flinching, Brock actually takes a step back. You can see it in his eyes. For the first time in years, Brock Lesnar looks concerned. Oba Femi gets in the ring. No microphone, no promo. He just stares at Lesnar. The two titans stand face to face, and you can feel the tension through the screen. Paul Heyman is frantically talking, trying to explain that this isn't how things are done, that you don't just walk up to Brock Lesnar and expect a match. But Oba Femi, he doesn't care. He shoves Heyman aside like he's moving a curtain and gets right in Brock's face. And then the bell rings. What happened next can only be described as carnage. Brock throws his signature first punch, and Oba Femi just takes it. Doesn't even flinch. Brock tries for a German suplex, his bread and butter, the move that's destroyed countless opponents. But Oba Femi blocks it. Not only does he block it, but he counters with a deadlift suplex of his own that sends Brock crashing across the ring. The crowd is losing their minds. This isn't supposed to be happening. Nobody manhandles Brock Lesnar like this. Brock gets up, and you can see the shock on his face turning into rage. He charges at Oba Femi with everything he's got, but Femi catches him mid-charge with a devastating spinebuster that shakes the entire ring. The ref has to check on Brock, but before he can even get close, Oba Femi pulls Brock up and delivers his signature move, a thunderous powerbomb that looked like it drove Lesnar straight through the mat. But here's where it gets brutal. Oba Femi isn't done. He pulls Brock up again. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome," but there's also a sense of disbelief. Some fans are standing there with their mouths wide open. This is Brock Lesnar we're talking about, the man who ended the streak, the man who's been protected like no other superstar in modern WWE history. Oba Femi hits a second powerbomb, then a third, By this point, Paul Heyman is out ringside absolutely freaking out, screaming at the referee to stop the match. But the ref can't stop it because technically Brock hasn't given up and hasn't been pinned. Finally, Femi lifts Brock Lesnar up one more time and delivers his finishing move, a sit-out choke bomb that he calls the Oba Bomb, and plants Lesnar in the center of the ring. The impact is so brutal that Brock literally bounces off the mat. Femi makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Femi just destroyed Brock Lesnar in less than 8 minutes on Smackdown. The place is going insane. Now let's talk about what happened after the match, because this is where things get really interesting. Femi stands over Brock Lesnar's fallen body, raises his arms in victory, and then he just leaves. No celebration, no promo. He walked into SmackDown, demolished the Beast Incarnate, and walked out like it was just another Tuesday. Meanwhile, medical staff rushed to check on Brock, and for the first time ever, we see Brock Lesnar being helped to the back. Not walking out on his own power, not destroying equipment in anger, just defeated. Completely and utterly defeated. The internet exploded immediately. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, every wrestling forum you can imagine was going crazy. People were arguing about whether this was brilliant or the dumbest decision WWE has ever made. And honestly, I can see both sides. On one hand, you've got people saying this is exactly what WWE needs. Fresh blood, new stars. We can't have the same 5 guys at the top forever.
Femi is the future, and what better way to establish him than by having him destroy the most protected star in the company? It's bold, it's shocking, it's the kind of moment that creates stars overnight. But on the other hand, you've got longtime fans who are absolutely furious. They're saying WWE just destroyed decades of credibility building in one night. Brock Lesnar's mystique, his aura of invincibility, everything that made him special, gone, just like that, for a guy that 80% of the main roster audience has never even heard of before. They're arguing that you could have built this matchup for months, created a proper storyline, and made it mean something instead of just throwing it away on a random Smackdown. So, let's break down what this really means for WWE going forward. First off, Femi is now the most credible monster heel in the entire company. Think about it. If he can destroy Brock Lesnar, who can stop him? Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins? You've immediately created a final boss-level threat that feels legitimate. But here's the thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. What happens to Brock now? Is he done? Does he go away for a while? Does he come back looking for revenge? Because if WWE doesn't handle this follow-up correctly, they've just wasted one of their biggest assets. My theory? This is the beginning of Brock's final storyline in WWE. Think about it. The man is 47 years old. He's been doing this for over 2 decades. Maybe this is how they're writing him out, by having him pass the torch to the next generation in the most brutal way possible. It's poetic in a way. The beast gets slain by a new monster. The circle of life in professional wrestling. And for Femi, the sky is literally the limit now. This man went from NXT champion to Brock Lesnar destroyer in one night. Where does he go from here? Is he coming for the undisputed championship? Is he going to run through the entire roster? The possibilities are endless. Look, whether you love this decision or absolutely hate it, you can't deny that WWE has everyone talking. And in today's wrestling landscape, that's exactly what you want. This is the kind of moment that will be debated for years. People will remember exactly where they were when they saw Femi destroy Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. But I want to know what you think. Was this the boldest, most brilliant move WWE has ever made? Or did they just flush decades of credibility down the toilet? Are you excited about the Femi era, or are you mourning the end of Brock Lesnar's dominance? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because I'm reading every single one, and I want to know where the WrestleScope family stands on this. And listen, if you made it this far, you're clearly as passionate about wrestling as I am. So do me a huge favor. Smash that like button to let me know you enjoyed this breakdown. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're going to be covering every twist and turn of the story as it develops. Share this video with your wrestling friends because trust me, everyone needs to hear about this. This is WrestleScope. And remember, in the world of professional wrestling, anything can happen. I'll see you in the next one.